What is up? This is the Silver Screen Savants horror review episode number 6. We are talking about 1978's horror iconic movie Halloween, directed by the legendary John Carpenter. And
what's up, Jedi?
And with me is my co-host DJ Anubis, and also we have special guest Anthony Jordan, Movies and Gaming, joining us as well. All links are in the description, and check their channels out as well. I like the score for this movie. That is one thing that surprised me with this one. This was my first time ever seeing this. I have seen like clips and stuff from this one, and the next week's movie we're watching The Thing. I've seen clips from that as well. So, do you want to start us with this one though? Just Anubis?
No. I'll let you start it. You hadn't seen it. You start it.
My first impressions for Michael Myers are, wow, this guy is about the size of Jason Voorhees, if not bigger. His demeanor is there. His physical attribute is there. He's a masked psycho, basically. Just wanting to hack the living hell out of people.
Well, the interesting thing about this film, especially when it comes to, the Michael Myers legacy, is that a lot of this almost plays out like Jaws. A lot of it's done in the dark. It's silent. It doesn't really. It's not like a lot of gore. It's a lot about the fright and the unexpected and the paranoia. Obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis is amazing as Laurie Strode. Donald Pleasance is a legend. Obviously is Dr. Loomis. But you got PJ Souls, amazing actress. Always loved her. And of course, who was the other one?
Walter's talking to you in the comments, right on the thing.
Oh, about the Halloween 6 is the better of the film franchise. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that, but it's all about taste. Is Anthony here? Is he hearing us?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look on my phone to see what.
That's the Paul Rudd one with the cult.
I was gonna say also I like Loomis's portrayal in this movie. Anthony even said you'll like Loomis for a first time viewing. This is really fun to watch. This movie was. It's hello there.
I'll say, since you like the score, where John Carpenter came up with the score, the tempo came from a timing exercise his father taught him for the bongos.
I didn't even know that until you said that. It's interesting. I like also, so you know how Jason has his iconic music when he comes and appears and stuff. I also like that with Michael Myers. The da 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 da. It's really eerie and dark and cool in the same sentence. I've never seen any of the others other than this one, so to say that,
well, it's basically his trademark. It's very memorable.
Like every other movie will have its own unique variation on the theme.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Jason, where they change it up every.
In Halloween 2, it's more of a brooding sounding synth. Halloween 6, it's more rock. You have kind of an orchestral element added to H2O, so it's interesting how they can tweak it throughout the films.
Loomis to me is how you do a doctor in an insane asylum. kind of role. The psychiatric kind of persona he gives off is really cool. Loomis just amazes me as a character, how he can go from calm, like, level to, oh, this is what is going on. I gotta go. I gotta be the one that saves the day, basically.
He spent years trying to warn everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first kill is interesting to me. It's a teen. I think it's 6 years old at the time. A 6-year-old Michael Myers with the butcher knife, and his sister, and he just stabs her rapidly, like somebody's hammering on something on a building with that. And I like that with Michael Myers. He's just that iconic, dark, brooding type of villain. The plot is interesting for this film also. I like how you see different perspectives of characters in this. Like, you see Laurie Strode's character, you see her side of things, you see Loomis, you see the sheriff's, Annie, her friend. I don't remember the other girl's name that was with Annie in the film. Hello, Chad Middleton.
Hey, Chad Middleton, how's it going?
But I do like how John Carpenter made this movie with the score. The setting is interesting. Also, I think it jumps from 15 years. I think he escapes 15 years after he's 6 years old in an asylum. I'm not sure. I'm just making this up because it doesn't really, I don't think, state it in the movie.
Yeah, he was 21 in this
film. It does say 15 years later, so after he's 6, yeah.
I like that about this film. Oh, yeah. Jedi has a question for us.
But this isn't the first of a slasher film.
Is this the first? I think he's asking, is this the first slasher film that started the whole genre?
This is, while there were films that were slasher-esque leading up to this, you can even argue back in Universal's horror cycle that the Mummy's Hand was the first true proto-slasher, but this was like the first one that was actually like the phrase slasher was actually applied to.
Mm-hmm. I do like the characters. Like, Strode's character is interesting. Annie is kind of a side character, I guess, in this movie, in a sense. Like, I kind of like how Michael's targeting her friends also.
Yeah. One thing I liked about the friend group is how when you look at the three of them, you have Linda, who's the bad girl, Laurie, who's the good girl, and Annie is somewhere in between the two of them. So it was like a nice little balance in the characters' personalities.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it also started the whole, like, trope about, like, don't have sex, be a virgin, being your final girl, etc., etc.
I like the final girl perspective in this also. I get a Friday the 13th kind of vibe with that, in a sense. You've got your final girl, like in the Friday movies, where, oh, this one's going to stop Jason and all that stuff happens. I like that perspective of it.
Well, that's very intentional, because Sean Cunningham's plan with the first Friday the 13th literally was, let's rip off Halloween.
Yeah.
Music for this movie, I love the score. And this, this movie is one anybody that's never seen a slasher needs to check out. I would say, especially, I mean, somebody that wants to make a first step into the genre of horror movies with slashers. Definitely. This movie is so iconic. It's had like, I think,
Jedi knows PJ Souls. Yes. Very wow.
I'm surprised she never got bigger than she did.
I think that Donald Pleasance's role is really well done for his character arcs in this film. And I think it carries through the film with each time you see Loomis, you know, it's like a different state. Is he angry? Is he upset? Is he, you know, trying to solve the puzzle? You know, it's like a detective in a sense. Like, he's the detective and he's trying to solve the case, you know? That's the feeling I get with Loomis also.
He's basically Van Helsing.
Yeah, that's what the role I'm getting with this movie is. And I like that aspect about it, actually. I really think Loomis' character, I've never seen the others, so I don't know if Loomis's character gets better or if this is like the same every time. That's just me. And I do want to for sure check out the others because there are, I'm sure, I do want to see also the actor that plays Michael Myers. There is one movie that interests me, and I've never seen it, and I've heard about it, called The Last Starfighter. That is one that interests me. Oh, okay. What Anthony's friend said is interesting.
Dr. Loomis goes into the descent of madness, H.P. Lovecraft character throughout the franchise chasing Myers.
Yeah. Which should also be said later on when Malcolm McDowell takes over the role. He does a very good job with the character as well.
Do we want to get into the story with this one?
Of course.
Yeah. So our movie begins in 1963. It's in the suburban Illinois town of Haddonfield. Michael is, in fact, 6 years old. He stabs his teenage sister Judith to death with a chef's knife. 15 years later, Dr. Samuel Loomis, his psychiatrist, with nurse Marion Chambers, drives to a sanitarium where Michael is incarcerated to escort him to a court hearing. After Loomis exits the car to unlock the gate, Michael jumps on the roof and attacks Marion. I like this scene where Michael it's like he's flying in the air in a sense with this scene, and he jumps on the roof and he goes nuts after Marion. She gets out of the vehicle and Michael steals the car and he gets away. So the bad guy wins the first round, basically, in a sense, for the beginning. Did we ever see him kill a mechanic and take his coveralls? Because I never saw that in the...
No.
Okay.
We just see the aftermath of it.
Okay. Yeah, so steals his coveralls before stealing a white mask from a hardware store. I like the stalk aspect of Myers also. It's like you're go for aim, you're targeting somebody, you know, but you have to get from point A to point B. You have to get your friends first. So he targets her friends first. His target is Laurie Strode. I don't know is it implied how they know each other, or I never noticed that.
Yeah, eventually, the storyline's changed so much, but it's eventually stated that she's like Myers' cousin.
Sister,
yeah.
Okay, so I guess to us in this, it's described as a sitter.
In this plot, there was none of that. It was just meant to be something that was completely random originally, that there was supposed to be no rhyme or reason as to why he was after her.
Yeah.
I really enjoy also in this movie, Nick Castle does a good job playing Myers for the film debut. I think he does a good amount of the stunts. Some of the kills in this movie that I enjoy are the phone cord strangling scene. I like that. I also like the one where Michael pins Bob, I think is his name, to
the door.
To the door. I'm like, wow. I also like to set off the phone cord. I also like how Michael's in a ghost costume and he's got Bob's glasses and he's playing around like Bob.
Well, funny enough, it looks like even in Beetlejuice, they kind of took a little inspiration from that in the scene in that movie.
Yeah. Lord, I even got a jump scare when Laurie approaches Myers' house and she drops off the key at his long abandoned childhood home, because he views her right through the door and he sees her right there. And I think that's like, this is who I'm after now. Annie and Linda are interesting characters, I will say. I like how her friends dismiss her concerns. Loomis arrives in Haddonfield. He discovers Michael has stolen Judith's tombstone from the local cemetery. He meets up with Annie's father.
Do you bring up the tombstone thing?
Yeah,
I point out something I like, and how it just goes. This movie feels like there's a bigger world happening around that, because the gravekeeper, he's taking Loomis down there, and he starts to tell him this story about a man named Charlie Bowles, and we don't get that story finished, which not only makes it feel more unsettling, but it's a good little touch that makes it feel like there's actually a bigger world out there.
Yeah, I like also eventually we finally see Judith die, but it's like eventually you see the body finally after towards the end, like the setup, the final chase scene in a sense. I like how Loomis meets up with the town sheriff. They go on the hunt for Michael, basically. Do we know anything about what that the girl that Loomis is with, the red it had some name on it on the
card from the beginning?
Yes. The thing that she has, is that any? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The card. The nurse has a thing, and it says.
Oh, he's talking about the matchbook, the rabbit in red matchbook she had. I just always assumed that was like a motel she'd stayed at.
Yeah.
But eventually, when when Loomis is on the way to Haddonfield, also he finds that the matchbook, and he sees somebody dead also in the bushes. Well, the camera pans out and you see somebody dead, because he's bloodied, and I guess Michael killed him on the way to Haddonfield. That's my assumption. The next day, Myers follows Annie and Laurie to their babysitters. Laurie watches Tommy. I think Tommy is cool for a character in this movie. I think he's like Laurie in a sense, like they're watching out for each other.
Well, one of the scenes I like with him is that when Annie brings over the little girl to kind of hang out while she, goes and gets her boyfriend or attempts to, that Tommy and the girl start playing hide and seek, and Tommy's behind the curtain, and then he looks back and he looks out the window and he sees like a shape just sitting there by the other house where Annie is. And he's like, "Oh, it's the boogeyman, no one believes me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's okay, so Laurie watches Tommy while Annie stays with Lindsay across the street. Michael spies on Annie and he kills the Wallace dog. That's a sad scene. Tommy spots Michael from the windows and he discovers he's the boogeyman. He thinks he's the boogeyman. But Laurie dismisses her concerns. Annie takes Lindsay to the Doyle house. She can pick up her boyfriend while Laurie watches both kids. I like the car. Michael hides in Annie's car and strangles her before cutting her throat. I like that kill. It seems like something Jason would do also.
Well, that's become like a real common kill, like in different horror films now when they do that, the hiding in the car in the back seat.
Mm-hmm. Linda and her boyfriend Bob arrive at the Wallace house, and they have XXX with it. Bob goes downstairs to get a beer, and that's when Michael pins him to the wall with a chef's knife. And then Michael, in disguise as Bob, as a ghost, taunts Linda. She gets worried and calls Laurie, find out what happens to Annie, and Michael strangles her to death with the phone cord while Laurie listens on the other end, not knowing what has happened.
Yep.
Discovers a stolen car and searches the streets, and it becomes a detective-style movie with this because Loomis is on the case. He's trying to investigate. He's trying to figure out. It's like he's piecing all these clues together in a sense. And I like that about Loomis. He's just that cool, style, edged character that, you piece the puzzle together as you go along with this film. Like, Michael did this after, it's like it loops back around in a sense.
Since you mentioned Loomis, a fun fact about when he was talking to Carpenter about this movie when they first met, he told him, he's like, okay, I don't really understand this script. I don't get my character. The only reason I'm even here is because my daughter liked your first movie. And Carpenter said it was until after he got to know Loomis, not Loomis, Donald Pleasance, that was just Donald Pleasance's way of just selling it to him. Okay, you explain to me why you think I'm right for this movie. And it wasn't out of arrogance. It was just kind of a test of his to see how serious any potential filmmaker he's going to work with really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worried about a phone call, Laurie goes to the Wallace house, finds her friend's bodies and Judith's tombstone in the upstairs room. And that's when you see the body in full. I think that's cool. You get to see the victims, all the victims.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, she's like, oh shit, this guy caused damage to my life, and I want to cause revenge now, in a sense. Michael slashes her arm while she's running through the hallway. She falls over the banister, She escapes the house of Michael in pursuit. She makes it back to the Doyle house and tries to call for help. She finds the phone dead. Michael sneaks in through the window, attacks her again, but stabs him in the neck with a knitting needle. If I were Laurie, I would have been rapidly going like the kills, like in Jeepers Creepers 2, like how they go whack, whack, whack multiple times just to solidify. But I mean, I like how she did it in this also, because if she didn't, then we would have never had sequels and stuff. So it makes sense.
This is just a panicked teenage girl. She's not going to be acting rationally. Like any one of us, it's like a grown adult. If we had to fend off a home intruder in that way, we're going to make sure the guy's dead before we take a breath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although it can be said that Michael Myers, we learned pretty quickly that he's not really easy to kill anyway. But yeah, generally that's the plan.
Yeah. Laurie staggers upstairs to check on the children. Tommy and Lindsay hide in the bathroom. Laurie hides in the bedroom closet. Michael reappears and Laurie stabs him in the eye and in the chest. And she sends Tommy and Lindsay to a neighbor's house to call the police. I think when he rises again, that's when you see his face for the first time. Older Michael.
Yeah, barely. I mean, I think they cover like half his face, but yeah, he's pulling the mask back down at that point. And that's kind of the thing about Myers, is that his face really doesn't matter, just kind of like Jason's doesn't, because it's just the being itself. It's not, doesn't matter who's playing a role. Like Freddy Krueger, we know what Freddy Krueger looks like, but Jason and Michael Myers, it doesn't really matter like who they look like.
He's a burned figure. That's what Freddy Krueger is, basically. Loomis seeing the children running from the house, Loomis investigates, sees Michael strangling Laurie. Loomis shoots him 6 times, knocking him off the balcony. When Loomis goes to check on the body, he is unsurprised to see that Michael has vanished. He stares into the distance as a traumatized Laurie sobs in terror while Michael's breathing can be heard in the Haddonfield night. I heard there's a director's cut of this movie.
There's a TV cut, and if you get the Shout Factory 4K Blu-ray combo, on one of the discs it has what's known as, I believe, the Ultimate Cut, which is the uncut theatrical version with the extended TV footage added into it.
Is there a Oh, it is on YouTube. Okay, I didn't know that. Are you talking about what? Is there a different ending?
Not a different ending. Okay, see, what had happened was while they were filming Halloween 2, the original was going to air on network TV, but because they had to trim some of the film out for network standards of the time, while they were filming Halloween 2, they also shot a few scenes of extra flashback footage and a few other scenes that they inserted into the film to have the proper runtime for what they cut out from the initial television run.
Huh. Interesting. Oh. It's interesting what Chad said.
Yeah, that's the best extended scene. There's a scene in the beginning where they're talking about how when Myers is 21, he's going to have to go before the court, all that nonsense, and that they're keeping him in minimum security. And Loomis is trying to tell him, like, this is the most dangerous patient we have, and he needs to be more secure, but no one listens to him.
Yeah, as you go to watch the rest of the series and the rest of the franchise, you'll notice that there's a common theme with Michael Myers, and it's that he's evil. So this all starts here with Loomis. Loomis calls Michael Myers the most evil being he's ever come across. And so
I would agree.
Something that kind of goes across throughout the entire franchise. And even though the franchise, switches around a little bit, doing different things, whether it's Resurrection or whatever, Halloween 6, it's always a common theme that Myers is just like pure evil.
In the script, it referred to him as the Shape because he's just evil. There's nothing there but the shape of a man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I like that aspect of, the shape, what you said just now about him being the shape and stuff. It makes sense a little bit. He's like an unkillable machine in a sense also, Myers. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever done it, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
You can.
Well, I'll say this, like, I think was it Anthony, H2O, where Curtis's character, takes the head.
Yeah. I was at the I'll bring up a quote from another one of the movies, and Chad Middleton, you better get this one. You can't kill damnation, mister. It don't die like a man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Nick Castle, I think, does phenomenal as Myers for the film debut of...
That's something I'll be interested to see, too, as you watch more of them, is who's your favorite Myers going to be, because it's like there's no, like, definitive most popular favorite Myers. Like, it really varies with the fans.
Yeah.
Like, for example, how many actors have played Myers?
Well, it's not even so much about that as it is like when you think of like Jason, there's been a few different actors portraying Jason. So they all have different quirks and ways that they portray Jason. Same with Leatherface. So for myself, I actually like the guy that played Michael in Rob Zombie's first Halloween film. He's very imposing and very large.
I think is his name.
But then you could argue that is he as creepy as, say, the guy that played him in this film or the second film? I actually like Halloween 2 a lot. So, that's just the thing. It depends on your taste and what you expect out of the particular character. Like, I'm a big Kane Hodder fan, but I've heard people say and Anthony's a big Friday the 13th guy, so he might like it. I think he likes a different actor portraying Jason. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So we all have our own particular taste on what we want to see out of that particular villain.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like certain things of a lot of different ones. But yeah, it just depends on taste.
That's interesting you say that. Yeah, I think Myers is definitely an iconic villain. He has that portrayal, that personality of him that makes him unique and different than, say, Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees, or, he has a different, unique personality about him that differs from just Jason and all those other iconic killers. His personality, to me, is what I'm talking about. How it differs, from... I definitely do want to check out. I don't know if you'd be down, Anubis and Anthony, to check out the others and talk about them as we go.
Sure, I'm fine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it would definitely be fun to do like a complete ranking of these.
Yeah,
I know. I do. I know for a fact I haven't seen. I think I've seen like Freddy versus.
Yeah, Chad's right, and that's why I want Olvin to watch that blind, because it's not even tied to the Michael Myers universe, but I'm curious what he would think of it.
That I do want to do the Friday the 13th also as a future ranking eventually as well, because I know for a fact, me personally, I haven't seen them all. I've seen the original.
It might be the one time where Anthony looks at me and goes, "You fucking idiot."
Are you gonna say something about that?
Well, it's obviously our joke about Kevin and Rec 3, but
yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Do we want to do film scores, or do we want to go more into the character for a little bit?
well, I think it should be discussed. Just like, I mean, obviously it could be final thoughts too, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that this was very influential to a lot of slasher horror films that came after it. And even though I've heard people say like sometimes Psycho might be the first like slasher film, this is what I would call a true slasher film, to be honest.
I'm going to even go out on a limb and say this is better than Psycho.
Well, for me, yeah, like, but Psycho's not bad. But the thing is, it is kind of a different vibe with that one.
Like films like Psycho, again, I even go far as back as The Mummy's Hand by Universal, because if you watch
or even Black Christmas '74, that could also be considered like one of the first slashers. So
because that one, you have a slow moving killer whose face is covered that leaves a body count. There's even a final chase in the film, so that one might just be the earliest example of what would evolve into the slasher. But then, yeah, stuff like Black Christmas, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they came along and laid more of the elements, but this is like arguably the first one where it all coalesced into the slasher.
I do love me some Leatherface. I like the original, so for TCM.
We had a pretty good franchise discussion on that not too long ago, and actually I came out, even though Anthony and I still love TCM2 the most, but some of those newer ones, man, very well done.
The funniest part on that one was like that none of us wanted to talk about the next generation.
Right.
Yeah, but final thoughts on this one are, or do we want to, do we still want to talk about Strode's character or anything like that? Or you think we should get to our...
I mean, you could probably break it down into final thoughts and then rate it however you want.
Okay.
We'll let Anthony go first.
Well, Halloween 1978, very... not just classic, but this film it's got a good history with me. I remember like one summer night in 1998, I forget what me and my mom were watching, but I saw the first trailer for Halloween H2O, and I'm like, I'm just starting to get into horror movies at this time. So I'm like, this looks interesting. The next day we went to the video store and she rented me Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 to watch back to back, and those films have been with me ever since. It's just great cinematography, atmosphere, the chilling performance from Dr. Pleasance, just the unsettling nature of seeing someone of an average build in Michael doing the things he's doing, the score that is what truly elevated, let's say, Halloween pioneered the horror slasher. Popcorn Yellow. Yeah, he's right. Mostly, like, just the music is what elevated it and made the film seem super creepy, as well as just how Carpenter played with the cinematography and how the shadows even make it scarier, because you could tell he was very selective as to what you can and can't see. Like, I absolutely love this film, 10 out of 10. During spooky season, the duration of spooky season, it's mandatory that I'm going to watch this movie multiple times throughout.
Yeah.
Are you just going to watch this one, or are you going to watch others?
I watch mostly the entire series throughout spooky season, but listen, this one is one of Halloween 1, 2, 4, and 6 are like my most rewatched throughout spooky season.
Do you want me to go next or you, Anubis?
I can go. So yeah, to kind of reiterate what Anthony was saying, like this film is just so iconic and great performances. Like that's the one thing that early on in his career Carpenter was able to do, is get the most out of his actors. The music scores that Carpenter does is phenomenal, especially through those early films. There's so much to the fact that you play this tune now anywhere for anybody and they know exactly what it's from. That it's that iconic in terms of like the theme. And
I didn't know sorry. You had a question. I didn't know that about Myers' mask.
Oh yeah, it's a Captain Kirk mask. And so I think they had like did they paint it gray?
It was a Don Post Studios mask that was taken off of a live cast from William Shatner from the movie Devil's Reign, and they got it from a pharmacy. They took the hair off, removed the sideburns, cut the eye holes bigger, and they painted it white, and I think they put like a grayish wash over the white.
Yeah.
Because, here you could see it's white, but there's clearly a wash on the mask.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, just the film overall, it's well shot. It's eerie and kind of like with Anthony, like every Halloween, October. I don't really sit down with the entire franchise. There's a lot in the franchise I just don't really care for, but certainly when this one comes on, I sit down and watch it, especially on Halloween night. I don't mind just sitting down and watching this along with some other scary films, but this is always a must. Definitely a 10 out of 10 without a doubt.
Yeah. I do want to say, since you mentioned watching it on Halloween, this is just something that it does create a good atmosphere. Watch it on Halloween night, and when she says, "Is that the boogeyman?" and Dr. Loomis says, "As a matter of fact, it is," turn the volume up on your TV and just stand outside and look up and down your street with that music playing and the sound of him breathing like that. You want to talk about a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
For me, I love Strode's approach. She's like the Fridays girls. She's got to fend for herself against this terror. I think Strode does a really good job of being the character she is. Loomis also is really well done for first film. I do like Michael Myers a lot as a character. I'm curious now because I think next year they're also doing a video game, so that'll be interesting to check. I might check that out when that comes out. It's I think it's a single player / multiplayer. I think Castle is Michael Myers in the game, in fact. If I'm not mistaken, Anthony, I think there's a reaction to it.
Capture.
What?
Yeah, he's doing the motion capture.
And I like the score for this movie. Carpenter did amazing with this movie, where it went, and $90 million for how it made it in its film debut. Sign me up for more. 10 out of 10 as well. Upcoming content. Do we want to go through upcoming content?
Sure.
Do we want to start with Anthony?
Could do that.
Well, it's still in production for this year's Montober. The next thing on my list is Phantasm 5. I got a watch, review, edit, then my Phantasm ranking, and hopefully this week I'll also finish up my Gundam Wing retrospective, and at some point in October I'll be joined by DJ Anubis and Mr. Tony of the Dead, where we discuss the original Town That Dreaded Sundown. That's also going to be a part of my Montober festivities, and I haven't decided the date for this yet, but at some point during October, since it's public domain, I'm going to be doing a live watch-along commentary and chat of the original Night of the Living Dead.
A classic zombie movie.
Mm-hmm. As for me, right now, the only things I really got scheduled is next Wednesday for Ghouls of Midnight with Mr. Tony the Dead. I've made my pick. 2025's Bambi the Reckoning. We're kind of continue down the Poonaverse as we're reviewing those films. But Bambi the Reckoning is the next one that I've chosen for us to watch and review. Obviously, next week on this show, my pick is 1982's The Thing, another Carpenter classic, one of my all-time favorite horror films. So I'll be, again, Alvin has not seen this, so
I've seen clips from it.
Well, now you're going to get the full effect, baby. So, yeah, we're going to be throwing that at you. Let me think here. What else I got coming up?
Do you have
as far as like next Tuesday, I might do a little bit of gaming online on stream for Diablo 4 Season 10, but I'm not sure how much of that's going to be on stream or not, and I'm not sure what else show-wise I'm going to do, but we'll see how it goes. I am trying to set up a thing for the 28th for the What If, the the Stuart Townsend thing with the vampires, and then on the 3rd, I'm trying to get Omniblast as well as Jake to join me for a review of the Alien Earth series as well. So,
you guys did mention something on the trailers that has me interested. I don't know if you're going to do a review on it or not. On Netflix, Monster with about the
Ed Gein. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to check that out when it gets released. I think that comes out on the 3rd too.
Yes,
that does sound interesting.
I was gonna say, did we have any upcoming interviews or anything like that? Did we hear from?
Nope, unfortunately not. So we're just gonna keep going with what we're doing.
Okay, so I can send an email to that one director if you want to get somebody try and get press. If so,
can try it. Yeah, never hurts.
Worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
For me, I have let's see, I have unboxing comics with Gojira 851 in the future. I've got Henshin Revolution podcast. I gotta finish putting the intro together. I know Anthony will be on that as a co-host, probably. And also Geek and Alzilla as well. Also got Henshin Highlight, which is the lore show, where we're going to go into the lore of characters, all that cool stuff. We are continuing our Gears of War playthrough, Gears of War Remastered playthrough in the future, I'm sure. I know he's busy with stuff in life right now, so whenever things settle down and stuff gets better, then probably. Oh, he's got a question for us about Halloween. Jedi.
Do you guys think the last Halloween film will become a masterpiece in time? I mean, somebody talks about Halloween Ends.
Okay, for anyone that watches Dutch Mantel's podcast where he talks about wrestling, I'm going to steal one of his lines. Not just no, but hell no.
I didn't even know he had a podcast until you said that.
Yeah, for me, I'm not even a fan of that trilogy, to be honest. It does absolutely nothing for me. Really, at this stage, I like the first 3 in the franchise, and then I do have a little bit of a soft spot for 4 and 5, but not anything that I would go crazy over. But I do love Danielle Harris as an actress, so I've been following her for a long time. But as far as like anything post that, it's hit or miss. Like I could care less about the rest of the franchise after that.
I'm so blind to the others, so I have to check it to, if I'm a bit or not.
Sometimes I know, like sometimes HBO Max will have all of them on there. Sometimes, like the whole set.
I was gonna say also for next week, for Savants as well, we have Jedi joining us for the Thing, we have Anthony Jordan returning as well for The Thing. So it'll be a fun show.
Smart men.
Yes. People that know their filmography. That's for sure.
Well, all horror fans too. So
yes. Well, I don't. It depends on if Jedi likes all kinds of horror or not. I don't know.
Well, I don't think he likes everything, but
yeah.
if he likes a thing, then Jedi's always good in my book.
And the thing, one of the like great things about that is you can remove the alien from it, and you still have a suspenseful tale where not everyone is who they claim they are.
Oh yeah, yeah. That movie tells a lot of different stories within the alien part of it. Like it's all about paranoia. You know, just even at the end, it's so ambiguous. So hopefully Olvin likes it when he sees it. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I was yeah. I know you've teased it. I don't know if you want to announce it yet or until we have our people, but I know you've teased a versus down the road as well, a sword and sandals style versus. Yeah. I don't know if you want to announce that yet, or do we have anything for that? But I know for a fact I want to get with you and Gojira 851 sometime, review that movie I sent you the trailer of, the animated movie the other day. I think Anthony might like that as well. It's one of the Batman animated movies. I don't know if he'd be down for it or not, but there's a couple of other really good animated ones I want to sit down with you and Gojira 851 and check out on Savants. In fact, speaking of Savants as well, I know November will be returning with the James Bond movies. So that'll be something I'm sure eventually we'll have to get that done this year.
Yeah, I probably won't finish them all before the year's out because, like I said, in December there's a couple of remake horror films coming out that I want us to tackle. But we'll have to go to the theaters or streaming if they're there and watch them. But I'm excited to kind of see what they're going to be like. So
I'm actually, as much as I hated Halloween Ends, the Silent Night, Deadly Night one, this one I'm rooting for Rohan Campbell to do good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know we haven't done a review for it, me and Anubis, and we haven't checked it out, but I just did find out the other day that Toxic Avenger will be out on streaming on the 30th, so might be something we can do a review of, with Savants or on Ghouls. I know we've talked about that as an idea. I know we've also talked about the Batman rankings in the future Savants thing as well. Also, happy Batman Day, in fact, for anybody that likes Batman. In fact, today is, in fact, Batman Day. But this has been Silver Screen Savants, Horror Review, episode number 6, Halloween 1978. If you've never seen this movie, go check this freaking awesome movie out. But we will see you next Saturday, the 27th, for The Thing. And we will see you next time.
Later, guys.
Later.